74, and then I fell apart and I did 2 7s and a 9 at the end.
Consistent.
So I was like, kept it together. I might have been able to shoot under 50, which for me is phenomenal.
Well,
I never do that.
For most people, I think. Average golfers.
Well, the people I talk to, like Don Burnstick golfs all the time.
Oh, really?
And he was
Does
up
he have
in.
a job too, or is he?
Oh man, he makes good money doing
Does
comedy.
he?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he was still like doing it full time or if he was.
Oh no. Full-time bread and butter. That's his thing, comedy. So he plays golf a lot, right? And he goes up to Toulon, and he sends me a text the other day. Yeah, shot a 74. We got to go golfing sometime. No, we really
74,
don't.
That's 18 holes probably too, right?
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to go golfing with somebody that shoots a 74 on 18 because I shoot 144 on 18.
Is it wrong if I saw like Don Burnstick walk in and he's like, "Hey, you want to go play golf for money?" I'd be like all over that, and then he'd wipe the course.
Yeah,
he would. He just doesn't have the look for.
Doesn't look like he's gonna be a golfer. No. He looks like he'd be a caddy.
That's true.
Or he's just lurking around waiting to steal some nice clubs and pawn them. That's racist, Bill. That's racist. Why'd you make me say that? Are we filming? Are we recording yet?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. All right. Sorry, Don.
That's all good. All right. Well, this is the Who's Your Daddies podcast. We are back once again. It's been a long time. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good. Nelson Mayer, Bill Burfoot doing this, and Nelson's just been on the road. It's been super hard to get time together.
Look how he blames
this.
me.
So,
well, I've wanted to record all the time, but Nelson's been on the road. What a dick he is.
My part-time job is not holding us back on this.
I would like to say, though, that in planning to get together and record this, it was you that canceled like 2.5 times.
That is true. I canceled. Yes, I even canceled today, but I pulled through.
You took it back.
Yeah, no, I pulled through. I hate canceling. This is fun. Like how can you complain about doing this?
Yeah, and I'd like to mention too that I think, in my personal opinion, our last podcast was an actual good one because we had a couple that I thought weren't so good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The last one was great. It was probably our best ever, and then we stopped recording and didn't do it again, and now it's like 4 months later. That's what it is, yeah. We gotta wait till everybody forgets how good that one was.
No, exactly. Well, this one will be up very shortly, and please leave your comments again. Everybody's leaving their comments. So, but how have you been? You've been on the road. You just told me you were in like Montreal. You've been traveling all over the place, Montreal, different places all over Canada. How's that going?
It's been going really good. It's been interesting. I've been doing a lot of shows up in Montreal with Don and Chad Anderson, the Res Dogs comedy show, we've been calling it, and a lot of the Aboriginal communities up there in James Bay have been booking us. So I've been going up there doing a half hour each time and getting paid, which is nice because that's kind of rare in comedy. And it's been interesting though, because like Montreal, it's weird. I don't think they have a lot of Indians in Montreal.
Yeah.
And my first inclination of that is I was walking through the airport with Chad and Don, and this lady stopped and asked if I wanted to apply for a credit card. Yeah, don't know Indians very well.
Was it in English?
She was, yeah.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was gonna even apply for the credit card, but my credit's so bad, Don and Chad wouldn't loan me a pen.
So those have been going good. Have you noticed?
Those have been going good.
How have the crowds been?
The crowds are fantastic up there. They have, it's a different sense of humor, Aboriginal communities, right? And they like a lot of teasing and stuff like that, so it's really forced me to start working on crowd work a lot more.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot more engaging with the crowd and talking to them. And I've been doing like cheesy jokes, like I'll find an older lady in the front row and ask her how many kids she has, right? Usually it's like 4 or 5, right? Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. And I've finished talking about how I have 6 kids, and then I'll be like, oh, 4 kids, and I got 6. See, if we hook up, we can have our own reality TV show. They'll call it 10 kids and no credit. And they love that kind of sense of humor, right? Or just picking on them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the 3 of you are perfect for that. Don is a career comedian, right? Like he's amazing, and the crowds love him up there. But for you and Chad, this is new experiences for you guys. So, so what's it been like for you? We've
been holding our own pretty good, I think. Every show we've had, there's been a couple that were tough. Like we did one in a community called Chesapeake, and I'm totally pronouncing that wrong, but that's okay. We did 2 shows. So the first night was great. It was fantastic. We did our half-hour material each, and then Don went up and just slayed the crowd, right? And then afterwards, we're signing autographs and that, and people are asking about the show tomorrow night. And, oh, the show tomorrow night, is that going to be the same material? And Don says, oh, no, it's going to be all brand new.
No, so you got to get on pen and paper.
Chad and I kind of look at each other like, that's all the material we have, man.
Yeah, Don's got, 20 years of material?
Yeah, he's got nothing. Or he can just, I've seen him do it where he just, like we did a show just to this last couple days ago in St. Teresa Point, and there was a woman it was a carnival kind of thing, so she had this little blow-up Superman toy thing, right? Okay. But she brought it to the show, and she's sitting in the front row, and she's got this thing propped up between her legs. So both of us ripped on her for it, but Don did like 12-15 minutes just on that, and it was hilarious stuff, right? So that's been a great learning experience for Chad and myself, I think, is being able to watch him and how he works the crowd.
For sure, yeah.
So we've been doing a lot more of that and getting better at it.
I was going to say, what's it like, because you were a fan of Don before all this even started, right? And now you get to tour with him and see what it's like. That must just be
I'll be honest, it's funny for me because, when I talk to people, I'm in the suburbs, right? So I talk to people and I'll say, I'm doing shows for Don Burnstick, and they look at me like, who the hell is that? It doesn't mean anything. But if I phone my cousin up in Easterville or something, or Paw, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm touring with Don Burnstick, they'll go crazy, right? Because he's huge fan base across Canada, but primarily he does Aboriginal communities, so he's very well known there. Outside of that, not so much.
Yeah, I worked at NBC Radio in Saskatchewan, and it's an Aboriginal radio station all through Saskatchewan, and the Don Burnstick, you mentioned that name, and everybody
knows.
Goes crazy. They think he's just hilarious, and if you haven't seen him, you got to check him out.
Yeah, he's got some stuff on YouTube. He did my prostate show, the charity show. Yeah. I donated his time, which was great, and he did a bit that he has on getting his prostate checked, and he's got that posted on YouTube, so people should check that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been really cool, because for me, I was a fan before I actually toured with him, and so I was like mini starstruck, and I'm just starting to get over that a little bit.
Are you guys traveling in like a RV, or are you planes, or what do you guys do?
We generally fly out, and then somebody will pick us up, or we'll fly into Montreal, and then we fly into a smaller community where we're picked up and taken down the gravel road tour. And
the gravel road tour? Yeah. That's a great name for a tour.
It should be, yeah.
I like that. That's awesome.
So but it's good. It's been good. It's been fun.
So what's on the plate next?
Next, we've been doing these Grand Forks shows. Not Don and I, but me and some of the local comics, Scott Porteous, and we brought Dan Goldberg with us, and just going to Grand Forks doing the Canadian Comedy Invasion, we call it. We go out and just mess around and do a free show. We did that the other night. That was fun.
Americans are pretty American. Like if you mention Canadian, they're not all that. How are they? Like they aren't all that enthusiastic.
You know what's funny? The first time we went, we brought this guy Garrett who does the open mic, and I think he's fantastic. He's got a great sense of humor, but he's pretty blunt and like hits you over the head with your comedy, right?
Okay.
So he's one of the first guys up, and we had a decent crowd. Like he goes up and starts telling jokes, and he's getting good laughter from them, and then he tells a joke that's a little more clever, right? And people laugh, and he goes, oh, wow, you guys actually got that, see? And everybody says Americans are stupid rednecks.
And do they laugh? Or they,
After that, he was having a much tougher time getting laughter. I'm like, thanks for just fucking killing our crowd, Garrett. I appreciate that. And who was up next, of course? Nelson's turn. So it took a while to get them back, but...
You got them back?
Got them back.
Do you go in there with the same attitude that you go with the Aboriginal, where you kind of tease them with what they're
I've been doing that more, yeah, I've been doing that more. And that's small towns, like in the res, it's easy. You just, and Don always tells us to do this kind of stuff too. Right? Talk to the crowd and tell them you're looking for a wife, right? Tell them you want a big woman, but women here aren't big enough. So then you name like the closest next community. I got to go to Fargo to get a big girl, right? So then they all laugh at that. So I did that. I talk about the experiences at the border because I always have. When you cross the border, do you have issues? Do you get pulled over and go into the special room?
Not as much as you, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to say it's a racial thing, but it is a racial thing.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it's racial. I get pulled in almost every fucking time, right? To the point where one of the last times I went, I had been pulled over 3 times in a row and said, okay, move into our special little room. No body cavity searches for me. Let's get that out of the way, first of all. They just make me and my family sit in this little special room while they go through all this shit in the car, right?
Okay, yeah.
So 3 times in a row they pulled me into this. I might have talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did I?
Yeah, no.
Well, let's fucking tell them again.
Yeah, of course.
So 3 times in a row. So then the time after that when I was crossing, I actually was like fucking loaded for bear. I was going home like, fuck them. As soon as they tell me, I'm just going to say, yeah, do you want me to go to my usual room? Which I'm glad they didn't, because that's probably a bad thing to say to border guards, because then it's going to be, no, actually go to the body cavity search room today. So I've been joking about that because, I think, why do they give me such a hard time when I cross the border? And I totally know it's because I'm brown, and they think I'm Mexican. And I'm like, you really think I'm trying to sneak the fucking long way around to get in the country?
Yeah, and come to Winnipeg of all places, too.
So, but road tripping. Let's talk about road trips with guys. Have you gone on a road trip with guys?
Oh, a few times,
You know what I'm talking about. It always degenerates into some horrible shit, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. If it doesn't, it's not a road trip, really.
No, not really. But I was wondering about that, because guys do weird shit on road trips, right? Like, I'm going to tell you about teabagging experiences that have occurred. Mark, sitting here and being quiet and all that talk.
With a huge forehead.
He was a victim. He was teabagged. Yep. For those that are listening that might not know what teabagging is, and if you listen to our podcast, I'm sure you know what every degenerate action is in the world, but just in case, teabagging is when a grown man thinks it's funny to put his testicles on his buddy's face while he's passed out, snap a picture, and put it on Facebook. This has happened. Mark's got a picture of him on Facebook. Have you seen that? Kyle teabagged him in Las Vegas, and we got a picture of Mark on Facebook.
Does he
with
right
Kyle's,
on the...
Oh, I shouldn't say Kyle. Maybe he doesn't want somebody's nuts on his forehead.
Yeah, he just pointed to his cheek. Did he get you on the cheek?
Yeah, I think his mouth is open a bit too. Yeah.
Okay, that's on Kyle then.
Yeah, that's on Kyle. Fucking Kyle. So grown men teabag each other, and I was thinking like women totally don't do shit like that when they teabag. You know, they don't do that on the road trip. Can you imagine if women go on road trips and smear lipstick on their vaginas and like plant Aunt Bertha kisses on each other's foreheads?
Maybe I did imagine that before. I think.
You think so?
I think I'm pretty sure I imagined that a few times.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound so bad, but when guys do it.
Or we draw fucking dicks on each other's foreheads. You ever done that to a buddy?
Absolutely, yeah. It's hilarious.
We were going to Grand Forks, so we stayed overnight. Didn't want to drive back the next day. Right when Mark passed out, I was drawing a dick on his forehead, and he woke up and he got fucking furious with me because I was tracing it, right? I colored it in so it looked like he's wearing a headband, right? No, I'm just saying, women don't do stuff like that. It's fucking.
Or maybe they do.
Maybe they do, and they just don't tell us.
Yeah, like we're not shy about showing it.
Yeah.
We're not shy about letting other guys know or anybody know that we've stuck our balls in some other guy's forehead. But girls are a little more.
That's true. You know, if we had vaginas, we'd totally be fish hooking each other. Maybe women do that, right? Not a dirty Sanchez, but the equivalent. What would that be called?
That's gonna be pretty close to a dirty Sanchez.
Yeah.
But some for sure.
I'm sure there's greasy women out there that do shit like that,
there's
eh?
no doubt about it. Like women's softball teams, probably.
Yeah.
Like you gotta think.
Because I was with some guys in Tijuana a long time ago. I don't know who they were, but one of them was getting a lap dance. In Tijuana, you can touch. I don't know how you'd want to because to me it's pretty greasy, but you can touch the strippers, right? Okay. So this one guy we were with, I'm not gonna mention any names, was finger blasting the stripper, right? And then he comes out and he tells Mark about it. And Mark's like, really? And he's like, yeah, see? And he fish hooked Mark.
No.
Fish hooked again for people that aren't degenerate, but some reason listen to us. Stuffed his finger in Mark's mouth. Like a fish hook. That's nasty, man.
Well, considering some of the things Mark's done, like he went down on one, and so
I didn't mention it.
That's out now.
Yeah, everybody knows. It was, you know, he gets
so
mad
maybe
at
you
us.
like the taste of the fish hook.
He gets mad at us for telling that story. But you watched the Nelson, Mark, and Kyle show, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that on an episode of the Nelson, Mark, and Kyle show.
That's the first time I heard it. Actually, was on there.
See, Mark?
Yeah.
Fuck you then.
Yeah, no, and there's no denial coming from it. Like, it happened, so this is something we have to let out.
Everybody knows. Just let it deal with it, man. We're healing now. We're healing.
This can be a bit for you.
I've told them it should be.
Like, that should be a bit. People would go crazy for that, Mark.
So, speaking of strippers, you've been keeping track of the Who's Your Daddy's Facebook page, and we get friend requests all the time. And you were saying that our...
about 60% of our fan base are strippers.
We have a high fan base of strippers on Who's Your Daddies.
Yeah, and we appreciate every one of them.
See, I appreciate that. And that goes to show what I've always said is that I think comedians and strippers are kind of kindred spirits, right? Because comedians do what they do, generally speaking, because dad didn't pay enough attention to them. And strippers and porn stars do what they do because dad's paid too much attention to them.
No, I see it.
So, kind of that kindred spirit thing going on.
If they want to promote any shows, we'll promote their shows for them. Like,
absolutely,
we're all about
yeah.
Stripper, we'll take a couple guests if they want to come on.
If they want to practice.
If they want to practice.
They got a big show coming up.
Mark wants to get fish hooked again. Come on the podcast. No, so how's the eating on the way? Like, what is the hardest food you find to eat?
You sit down with a fat guy and you ask him about eating.
Hey, I'm not exactly a featherweight on this side.
Yeah.
But no, I was eating Taco Bell in the car a couple days ago, and I'm just thinking, this is the worst possible food to eat while you're driving.
I'll tell you an interesting story then, because we're up in one of those communities, and they had this, it's called a walking out ceremony, which I guess is kind of like a baptism kind of ceremony for Aboriginal kid. You know, it's their first steps on actual soil, right? For the first year of their life, they're kept inside, or if they go outside, they're always carried. They're never put on the ground. So then there's a special occasion when they first start walking, they take their first couple steps on the ground. It's called a walking out ceremony. So we were invited to go to this, and we thought, that's cool, I'll go and do that, right? And they had a big feast. And so we're sitting, they had a teepee that they had built and everything, and Chad and I went, and they're giving us food, and I'm worried, like, you know, I don't eat a lot of wild meat. I'm a city Indian, right? Like, I'm never really Indian until I go camping with my buddies, right? Then I'm just back to roots, like Indian, like, we're going camping. I was like, Mark, what are you bringing? Oh, I'm going to bring my tent and some clothes and some food and my iPad. And I'm like, you're going to bring a tent? Build a lean-to, man.
Yeah, I'm going to kill my food.
So,
put my ear to the ground.
I'm not much of a, what are you pointing at? Sure. pleasure. Oh, Mark sees a horse. He's like one of my kids. Horsey, Daddy, horsey. You're a fucking dumb bastard. Apologies to people that were listening there. Mark saw a horse. What was I talking about? Wild meat. So I'm not like a big wild meat eater, dude. You know what I mean? Like I like food that I recognize, like
of course,
bacon and chicken, and that's safe, right? and I don't want to offend anybody either. So like they could fuck with me if they wanted to and be like, oh, here's horsecock, everybody eats it, and I'd be like, oh, really? Okay, and I'd be fucking chowing back, and they'd be laughing. He's really eating it. So thankfully they don't do that. But they gave me a bowl of fish and berries. Which I don't know, fish and berries. It was like fish and blueberries. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be terrible, man. And everybody's watching us. But it worked. I don't know. So I ate that, and that was all right. And then I had some goose that they had cooked. And
how was that?
It was good.
Yeah, I've had goose.
It was tasty. I've never had it before. I'll tell you a funny story about wild meat, though. I don't know if I told you this one. I used to work at the Office of the Children's Advocate, and I worked with a bunch of older ladies, right? And one day the power went out, so we were all huddled in the front room because that's where the sunlight was in, and we could hang out waiting for the computers and shit to come back on. And my boss started talking about how she grew up in the north, and she's eaten all this wild meat in her life, and I've tried everything. Oh, I've tried goose and moose and caribou and snake and rabbit, and I've even tried beaver. Now, that means something different to me, right? Yeah, I've eaten beaver. And, Thelma, have you ever eaten beaver? And Thelma says, I don't think I've ever tried beaver before. And I'm thinking, maybe once in college you tried it? Then she turns, and I'm sitting at the door, fucking Beavis and Butthead, immature, just trying not to laugh, right? She turns right at me, oh, Nelson, have you ever tried beaver? I couldn't help it. I said, not nearly as often as my wife would like me to. Not talking about the same thing.
Did she catch on?
She did, and then I said, I was pretty sure you were sexually harassing me there for a second.
I don't know, the smell of cooked beaver, I don't know how that would go down.
Hey, just, it's a hot summer day. It's pretty easy to find out.
Oh man, there's a fish hook.
There's a fish hook. Mark, cooked beaver, how does it taste? You had some. That was plenty tenderized. 2 o'clock in the morning.
So what did you guys eat on your road trips? And does it change from when you were with Don and Chad to when you were with Scott?
Oh yeah, when you're with Don, he'll be like, because he's got money.
Yeah, I guess
he
so.
He kind of assumes everybody has money, so he'll be like, oh, we'll grab a place to eat. Oh, this looks good. Let's go into this steakhouse. And
oh, nice.
Oh yeah, it's $65 for a steak. Oh yeah, let's get those, guys. And they're like,
KFC or anything
but I mean, we're still paying for our own food. Like, sometimes he'll cover it, so he'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna get the steak. What are you guys gonna get? And we're like, I just want a crouton. I want just a crouton. It's $10. Yeah. So no, but sometimes he'll just cover it, which is great. But usually it's like, oh yeah, I'll get the burger. The burger's $22. I'll do that, right?
So you get like VIP treatment when you're there too with these shows, like
oh yeah, they take care of us.
Stuff,
some of those it's great. Like backstage, they have like tables set up with drinks and snacks and fruit trays and all kinds of stuff. But then when I do the shows to Grand Forks with the local guys, it's like, oh, let's stop and get a bag of chips. That's supper, a bag of chips.
And Scott's like, no, I'm watching my weight.
Scott's like, I'm watching my wallet. I can afford my gas, but those chips look tasty, but I'm not going to do it.
But those must be just crazy fun.
Those are great trips. I mean, you write half your material on the way down.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
The first one we did was Scott, myself, Garrett, and Mark. And on the way down, I felt like the fucking odd man out because these guys start talking about porn, right? And they're like throwing out names of actresses, and I'm like, wow, you guys actually know their names?
Like,
you guys really commit to your jerking off. But then I felt all of a sudden like maybe I'm the creepy one, right? Because here's my logic on this. These guys are looking at porn stars jerking off and think, oh, I want to know what her name is. I'm impressed by her. She's a person. That's Ashley. And me, I'm just like, fucking piece of meat. I don't care if you have a name or a face. Click next page. So maybe I'm the creepy one. I don't know. But they made me feel weird because I couldn't I don't know the fucking names. I can't even remember to repeat the names they were throwing out at each other. And they're like, oh yeah, what about, Ashley fucking Big Jugs or whatever. Oh yeah, she's great. Did you see her last movie, Fists of Fury?
I will.
Oh, like, what the fuck? Yeah. You know names? That's creepy.
You're never the creepiest guy in the room if you're traveling with this guy.
No, you're really not.
No. So do you guys just stay for the night, or do you guys come right back after the show?
Usually what we've done is come right back.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're going to change that for the next trip. I think we're going to...
make a weekend, 2 shows out of it, or...
Maybe do one in Grand Forks, one in Fargo.
Are they coming to you, or have you planned it out there?
Well, we went out, and I approached them first. We were going to go to Fargo, and it fell through. So I just contacted this guy, and this bar called The Hub in Grand Forks, and I said, if you got nothing going on, we'll come down, we'll put on a free comedy show, do like an hour and a half, whatever, right?
Yeah.
We can't get paid anyways, we don't have work visas, so let's just fucking do it up. It'll be fun, right?
True. Maybe some drinks or something.
Yeah, and that's what they've done, right? They just give us a free bar tab, we drink whatever we want.
Oh, man.
So that's what's inspired.
I'm in next time.
That's what's inspired next time. Yeah, we'll get a hotel room, because it's like, if they're going to give us a free bar tab, I drink like 1 beer because I got to drive back.
Yeah, no way.
But the beers that they give me are like, they call them PBR pounders for $3, but we don't pay anyway. Pabst Blue Ribbon, and it's a pound, it's a pound of beer, right? It's like this big, huge mug, right?
But it's American, so it takes you like 7
it's a little bit more, yeah. But I figure if they're going to give me free PBR pounders, I'm getting a hotel room next time.
Yeah, spend the night for sure. Between the 6 of you.
Yeah, because we get back at like 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right.
Because we'll do the show and then we'll hang out.
Yeah.
Visit, try to pick up groupies.
Yeah. And isn't the groupies pretty much you guys sitting in the...
Yeah, we just jerk each other off on the way home.
Well, I'm in. That sounds great. I'm in. We're getting some pictures here. Wow, those are huge drinks.
Oh, you got a picture of the beers. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Those are like A&W, large mugs.
See the empty one there? That's mine.
Is it really?
Yeah, I don't fuck around.
The driver.
The driver. You know what it is? As soon as I get to the club, I pound them so I can get fucking good and hammered, and then I'm sober up by the time we leave. The guy at the border stopped me and asked me that on the way back, eh?
So, did you have problems going over the...
coming back, we didn't have problems, but... They mess with us all the time now, right? Because what are you going down for? We're going down to do a comedy show.
Right, yeah.
Oh, who's the funniust guy in the car?
Right, okay.
Oh, tell me one of your jokes, right? Tell you one of my jokes. And, 3 of us are sitting there, what's my cleanest rape joke?
Yeah, you guys are known for the cleanest jokes, for sure. You should come up with some border jokes.
Dude, I got a border joke that I'm working on for the U.S. Where I was just thinking about how, we fucking shit on Americans all the time, right? But then we have them to protect us when it's time for war, right? And I was gonna make a comparison about, like how a kid clutches to his dad's leg when he's frightened, right? And like that's why like 80% of our population is right near the border. And I think there's something funny there. I gotta work on it.
I can see where you're going.
He's like, you gotta tell that the XM satellite competition. I'm like, okay, Canadian audience isn't gonna appreciate me saying we need Americans to fight our battles. And
yeah,
that's a U.S. joke. I'll tell the American audience that shit. They'll love that.
Oh, that's awesome. You should be videotaping these road trips as like saying like this is how it's starting out as a beginning comic. Look at us, like 6 of us, free shows, drinking, and then you're slowly starting to get more followers and
well, that's what it's all about, right? Like making new connections and getting new, and that's what's happened because the last time we were there, we were talking to some of the staff and they said after the last show, everybody was talking about it and they were excited for the next one. And he says, we keep coming back, we're going to build up a bigger and bigger audience because there's nobody in Grand Forks doing comedy.
Yeah.
There's nobody. So when we come in there, that's the only game in town and people are getting excited. It's starting to get known. So we'll keep doing it, get a bigger fan base, and they're going to start paying us. We can't earn money, but they'll cover like the expenses for getting down there, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
So we get a free trip out of the deal. And, anytime you can get up in front of a new audience, I think is great. And the road trip is all the fun, right? Like we asked other people if they're interested in coming, and some local comics, not throwing any names out, would say shit like, how much do I get paid? Like,
right,
you don't get paid fuck all.
No, but your name, somebody will know your name that didn't know it the night before.
That's right, and you'll have, and it'll be a fun road trip because to me that's what it's all about. Is the fucking drive out and the drive back is the best part for me, right?
Yeah.
And like being there and telling the jokes is great, but.
Well, and and you said it, how much material is coming out of those road trips?
Oh yeah.
Like just you could do a whole set
that's
probably on
ridiculous,
just a road trip down alone.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that's awesome. You should be like writing it, like doing like some sort of memoir or something. This would be like, it'll sound stupid now, but in like 5 years, if you're in front of 10,000 people are gonna be like, oh, I wonder what it was like for him at the beginning. And this is like,
here's the story.
Look, here's a picture of all our beers that we got paid.
Here's a picture of me teabagging Scott.
Let that get in there.
So I'll tell you the Mark teabag story since we brought it up. We were in Vegas or LA, I can't remember where. It's me, Adam, Kyle, and this guy. And we were supposed to go to a wrestling show, but we were in LA because we drove up from Vegas and we got delayed. So when we got there, we missed the wrestling show. So what are we going to do tonight? Well, let's just get some fucking beers and stay in the hotel room and, just chill out for the night. No big deal. So some beers turned into a fucking big, huge bottle of vodka and Kahlua and all kinds of shit, right? So we did it up pretty good. And by the end of the night, fucking hosed and acting stupid. Like Kyle's running around. decides we're going to teabag Mark, right? Mark's asleep. This is the best part. We didn't just teabag him. We wake him up.
No, really?
We want to traumatize him as much as possible. So we wake him up, hold him down, and Kyle straddles him, slaps nuts on his face. It's basically a rape teabag is what it is, more than anything. So,
why didn't you want anyone to know about this?
Yeah, I wonder. Eh? Yeah, and then we were wrestling around having a battle royal, like just very, very homoerotic.
Jeez, yeah. After you teabag, you don't want to have a wrestling match.
Oh, absolutely not. But Kyle's wandering around now looking for his drawers, right? And Adam at one point decided to break out his video camera. Nobody knew about this until the next day, right? And he just put it on the counter and just left it there, right? So you hear a little bit of wrestling around and laughter and shit like that. And then you see Kyle walk in directly into view of the camera. Buck asks, "Where the fuck's my underwear?" And he turns and faces the camera. And he's got like just full ball
and he has no idea the camera's
He's got no idea. He's just dangling, walking around, "Fuck's my underwear?" Yeah, and just stands there full on it for like 2-3 minutes talking about can't find his drawers. And then, so the next day we're all watching this like, now that we've sobered up. And they're like, "Nelson, you gotta watch this." So I'm watching the video and I haven't seen myself yet. And Mark's on there fucking whipping down his pants and flashing his cock to the camera, going, "Fly's eyes." Right? Don't ask me, man. And then there's Kyle fucking walking around Buck. And I'm just watching this the next day thinking, "Oh, please God," because I can't remember. Right, please God, don't tell me Adam has any footage of me doing anything remotely close to that. And then you see me and I got my drawers on because I guess I went to bed too at one point. And I was sleeping in my drawers, nothing else. I had my big fat baloney tits hanging out, but I don't give it. It's not like it's a secret that I'm fat. Like, you know when a fat guy goes, when you go to the beach, do you leave your shirt on in the water?
Absolutely.
See?
Yeah, for
Some
sure.
fat guy thing. Yeah. I used to do it all the time, but I retired it. And
nice.
Maybe you're going to retire too. And here's why I retired it. Because I went to the pool one day, and I had all my kids with me, and my daughters were like, 10, 12, 13, that kind of age. And I started thinking, fuck, man, they're going to pick up like severe body issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I got to fucking take one for the team and act like I don't care. Even though I totally do, right? I don't walk around I got fucking stretch marks and fucking baloney tits, right? I'm like, there's no way I'm going to fucking... But no, I had to do it. I took one for the team. I just whipped off the shirt and went and walked around the pool, just let it all hang out, acting like I don't give a shit. Meanwhile, I'm like, I feel so vulnerable. So I stopped doing it. And then I make jokes about it, right? Because, like, I used to go swimming in the beach all the time with my shirt on. You get on, it's clinging to you. It's like, it's the worst disguise ever.
You should have a show called that.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, do a body image show. Jokes. Yeah, stretch marks and baloney tits.
That's the name of the show?
Yeah,
that'll be the name of my first CD, Stretch Marks and Baloney Tits.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, because like really, you're not fooling anybody. You
come
on, it's not like,
and then you go in and it's skin tight anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Come out, it's clung right to you. Every fucking crevice and roll is not visible.
But I wear t-shirts all the way, so when I take it off, it looks like I still have a shirt anyway. Like I'm so pitch white, like I'm not brown like
you. Oh yeah, fair enough. Meanwhile, you're walking out of the water like, it's the perfect disguise. They'll never know I'm fat.
People think it's a nude beach because of these bad boys. I got some nude baloney ones.
So he's got video of me walking around with my shirt off, which isn't the biggest deal in the world. And I was fatter then too. Like I've actually lost weight since then. So. Well,
considering what else was on the camera, like that's.
Oh yeah, like you're gonna see Nelson walking around with his baloney tits going up to Adam, going, "Come on, let's just try it once." But I do that sober, so that doesn't matter.
I can't believe Adam had a camera.
Yeah, I remember leaving the hotel to get
technology, like cell phones still to this day.
I know, what the fuck's up with that? And I'd hang out with him if he had one. That's
I know, that's
really
the
only reason why I don't hang out with Adam.
Yeah,
is because I can't text him to say, "Dude, what's up?"
That's exactly it. I don't phone anybody anymore. Do you phone anybody?
No, I don't like. I hate the phone. I used to work at the Children's Advocate on intake, and people would call me crying, or they'd call me, tell me they're going to kill themselves, or they'd call me whatever the fuck, right? So then when I'd get home, the phone rang, and I'd be like, I'm not answering that.
Yeah,
I'd be sitting right beside it, and Wendy'd come in, "Are you going to fucking answer the phone?" No.
Do it all day.
Why not? Because I don't want to talk to anybody. What if it's an emergency? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a police officer. If it's an emergency, fucking call 911. What
phones they're going out.
And you know what they always say? What if somebody died? Is it really going to help me to know a few hours earlier, right? Like,
that's exactly. Text me then.
Yeah, exactly. Text me if somebody's dying. I don't give a fuck. No, if you're on your deathbed, hopefully you can still text, "Help, I'm dying." Because if you call me, I'm not going to answer. And I don't like phones. I don't like talking to people. I don't like people.
Well, that's it. And that's the great thing about texting. If you don't like people, you don't have to talk to them. You don't have to answer. You can answer on your own time. Yeah, and when you call people, what do? They fucking keep you on the phone, right? Like I call to say, "Hey, did you want to take us to the show on Friday?" Or, "Hey, do you want to go to the fucking club tonight?" Right? And
And then they're like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go to the club tonight. I was thinking about going out with my friend Dave because I haven't hung out with him for a while. And, you know, Dave's mom is sick. And
yeah, I
don't give a fuck. Fuck Dave and his mom. You want to go out or not? I want to have a conversation. You know what I hate, though, is when you text somebody. This guy does it to me all the time. Yeah. You text somebody to say something like, hey, you know, what's Chris's number?
Oh, yeah.
And instead of texting back with Chris's number, oh, why do you need it?
Yeah.
I don't like texting either, to be honest with you.
I hate it, yeah. No.
You know, I do it when I need to, and I don't want to do extra texting because you want an explanation for why I need Chris's number. It doesn't matter. Just give me the fucking number.
Oh, yeah, it drives me crazy.
And then they'll text back, okay, hold on. I didn't need that message. And it takes like, oh, I've almost found it.
Is your phone a newer one now?
Like it is now, yeah. Flip phone? I had the flip phone that my work paid for the longest time. That was embarrassing. I used to get embarrassed pulling that out.
Yeah, but then you were unique. By the end,
if you want to, yeah.
People would be like,
nobody else had it.
With you, like, look at this guy.
Look at this guy. Hold up your phone. Look at this dork.
Flip it.
I don't know if that's a good claim to fame, Bill. But it's true, and I was embarrassing because to me at this point, I mean, this was just a few months ago that I upgraded, right? Yeah. And everybody's got their iPhones and they're fucking moved on to iPhone 5 or whatever the hell, and I still got my fucking flip phone, and I feel like it's like, you know, string and fucking paper cups. I would get embarrassed whipping that out. I got a Samsung Galaxy something or other.
Oh, okay, like a smartphone.
It does, yeah. It does what I need it to do. Goes online. I can look at porn.
Have you done that on your phone?
Have I looked at porn on my phone? I don't know. I mean, people send you pictures sometimes. Does that count?
That's what happens. Yeah, that counts. I guess if there's nudity.
Yeah. Scott likes to send dick pics all the time. He's got a joke that he's working on. He hasn't done it yet, and I'm gonna fucking out him.
Maybe tonight.
About sending dick pics, but he gets like really serious about it, like, you know, you go and do a good fucking shave job, clean it up. It's like a Jostin school photo with the lasers in the background. I told him that's a great bit. You got to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but my old phone, man, it was embarrassing. Anytime I whipped that out, you know, it'd be like the same feeling I get when I stood by a black guy at a urinal.
But you can't upgrade that.
You can't upgrade that. No. You just keep lying about it. So yeah, baby, I got 10 inches.
Are you one of those people who play all the games on there now and everything?
I did for a little while, but I don't know.
Like, I lost my wife. My wife's gone. Like, just Candy Crush.
Just game. Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, like I haven't. She will just sit on it for like 3, 4, 5 hours at a time.
See, you got to start playing Candy Crush so you can talk to your wife again, because she'll send you requests for items.
She signed me up for Candy Crush. So I could send her lives.
Did she tell you had to take it?
Yeah, she told
you have to fucking do it.
She signed me up.
I get stuff for it.
She took my phone and did it.
Really?
Yeah, and gave herself lives because she didn't have extra. I don't know how the game works.
That's cheating.
I guess so, but.
No, I don't do the games, but Wendy does games too, right?
Yeah.
So she'll be there. I should start doing games though.
No, because then you're gone.
Faking it. I know. I just want to say I'm doing games, so that way she'll stop asking me who I'm texting.
Playing Candy Crush.
Yeah. What bitch are you texting now?
Bill. He's not gonna appreciate that.
Usually it's Scott or Mark.
His boobs are big, you know.
Yeah.
He's not gonna appreciate that.
You trying to fuck somebody? Is that who you're texting? It's Mark.
Do you get that lots?
Lots, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what comes with, meeting.
Well, that's what happens when you start fucking other people.
Yeah, that's right. When you start fucking other people.
Jealous. Yeah.
Well, we're at Finn's Pub tonight.
We are. This is the site of our open mic, which is also tonight.
Yeah, this is it from now on, or you guys at Pulse anymore?
This is it. No, Pulse shut down. They didn't pay their bills, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Had a lot of fun working there with with Jerry. He never stabbed me once. Had some close calls where I was concerned he might. He was a good dude, Italian dude, eh?
Yeah.
And he always talked that way. He had that way about him that you thought he might fucking stab me.
And he would make you feel like you were in his home, too. Like, you're really comfortable. At least the first time I met him was one of our first podcasts there with this. And he came, put his arm right around me, asked me for a drink. It was really awkward.
He probably had his other hand in your pocket taking your wallet, though.
That's true.
No, Jerry was a good dude. But he used to give us tickets for the comics for doing the show, like drink tickets, right? Give the comics each a drink.
Yeah.
But then he'd always make sure, but domestic beer and shots, that's it. Domestic beer and shots. You make sure, Nelson. You tell them. All right, Jerry, I got it, man. Nelson, you told me there's going to be a big crowd tonight. Like 70 people. I'm going to have to stab you a little bit. Just a little bit, because I like you. Domestic beer and shots only. I hope he listens to this, man. Yeah, but he was a good dude. I liked working with him, and it was nice of them to give us their venue. It was a great venue, and we did pretty good there. We had 16 or 17 shows, and most of them sold out or were near sellouts, so we did really good. And then we had a few shows that were fucking terribly no attendance at all. But what are you gonna do?
So what about you then? There's a whole great venue right there. They couldn't pay the bills, but maybe you could make that work into something.
Pulse?
Yeah.
Take the whole fucking club, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could turn it into a comedy club. Like
sure.
Well,
we already discussed my credit issues.
That's
so
true.
That might be a problem.
Well,
in the meantime,
maybe Don maybe he would come in on that, or
never know. Something worth exploring.
Yeah. No, it's.
Finns has been good to us though. We did a show.
It won't get flooded in a rainstorm.
Yeah, like rumors.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
No, they're still renovating. They got a couple weeks. They're going to be shut down, and then they're going to open up again. And so my funniest person with a day job thing is on hold.
Oh yeah.
Now. I was supposed to do that tomorrow night or Tuesday night actually.
So they've been closed since that?
Well, they were open for the World Series of Comedy because people had booked flights and were coming in, so they.
Because it was like the rainstorm happened on the weekend. They were like, "We're gonna be open Tuesday. Don't worry." I was like, "Holy!" They showed down there. I'm like, "There's not a chance you can do that."
No,
or don't order food.
No, they were open for the Wednesday night for World Series of Comedy, and then after that, yeah, it was good. I competed in it.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Really well. There was some really good comics that came in for that, like headliners, right? So you feel weird. First time I did it was last year. Actually, I went out to St. Paul for the satellite tournament, and they're announcing all these people, and they're all like headliners who've been touring North America, doing full hour-long sets, and I'm like, I got 7 minutes. If I advance to the next round where you need 11, I'm fucked. I don't know how I got here. I submitted a video, you liked it enough, and it was very much the same. We had some local Winnipeg guys that were in it as well, and some guys from Los Angeles, California, Iowa, all over the place came in. Some serious headliners, some guys that weren't so good, but for the most part, everybody was pretty solid. And
how was your set?
I had a great set, actually. Yeah, I thought I might have had a chance. There was a really good night that night. Like a lot of guys went up and just fucking killed the room.
Oh, okay.
And but I thought I had a chance, and a lot of the comics that I didn't know were coming up to me saying, "Dude, you got this, right?" And I was like, that feels good having that, right?
Sure, yeah.
And then two of the guys that went advanced that night, because every night 2 comics advanced to the final. The 2 that went up, one of them I picked to advance.
Okay.
And then the other guy, I didn't think he was going to advance, but. Comedy contest, right? It's subjective. You never know.
Who does the judging of that? Is there
the guys from the guys from World Series, and Tyler from Rumors normally does. That night he wasn't there. He's at a.
So it's pretty legitimate judging, like it's.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty fair, and it's a comedy contest. You never know, right? I don't take anything personal, but I had fun. I had a good.
No, but I've seen a couple sets where you've had some judges and they didn't like some of the stuff. So
let's get into that.
Yeah, if you want to, I'm fine with that because I was pretty disappointed because you killed the crowd, everybody's laughing, and then you offend one judge who just gives you some bad remarks.
Yeah, that we're talking about funniest person with a day job now, Rumors, and there was the one night where I don't know if that was the night you're talking about. Or maybe it was the final you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it was the final.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I ended up doing a wild card round.
Okay.
My second round, I didn't win, and I went up and I fucking killed the room. Absolutely. And I'm not one of those dudes that I killed it. If I suck, I'd say I suck, but I did. Like the audience was fucking going crazy, laughing at everything I said. I had a good night. The comics after me weren't doing too good, where I was at a point where I was able to say, okay, I beat that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I beat that one. And then the last guy went up and he brought his notes with him. And his shit wasn't that funny, and he was reading his notes.
So you're like,
and I thought, holy fuck, there's no way I'm not moving on, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have any disillusionment that I'm going to win this contest, because I know Winnipeg's got some good comics.
Of course, yeah.
But I figured, okay, I'm going on to the final tonight. There's no way I've missed this. And then they called the winners, and they're like, hey, second place, going on to the wild card round, give it up for Nelson Mayer. And even the audience was kind of like, what the fuck?
And
leaving that night, I had so many people that I had no idea who they were saying, dude, you got fucking robbed tonight. I don't get it. And then the guy who won was the dude with his notes.
Oh, really?
And I was like, what?
Unless that's part of his shtick.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Then he was in the final, because I ended up winning the wild card round. That's how I met Scott Porteous. So his first memory of me is him wanting me dead because I beat him in the wild card round. So, and then that guy that read his notes in the final, I thought he was very funny. So just wanted to say that. A little bit of redemption for him. But that night I felt like, what the fuck? You're losing some credibility. And
yeah, of course.
Because to me, everybody in the room sat here and watched. And
like, who's that guy to one guy when the whole crowd is losing it for him?
Well, audience participation is only part of it, right? Audience reaction.
But I think it's a huge part. Because without an audience, you're just
maybe. Except what I've come to realize is that there are ways to get like easy laughs, right? Like I don't do as much as of the F bombs. I don't do any F bombs really anymore. But you know, cursing on stage generally can get easy laughs, right?
That's why I appreciate guys like Jim Gaffigan, Brian
absolutely,
Regan. Like, that's really tough.
Brian Regan, hilarious. So I don't do that anymore. I don't think I've dropped an F bomb on stage for months, really.
Because you could tell the worst joke and then end it with
other than open mics, I'll drop it. But so doing the dirtier material, I've come to agree that it is easier, although I do still think, and I'll argue this to the death, that there can be dirty material that's done in a clever way.
Of course.
And then it's great. So, you know, I like all comedy, right? But they really are tough on vulgar material, and I was doing more vulgar material, and some of my stuff, even still now, like I got that sperm sock bit I do, right? Yeah. So the whole line, you know, I got a sock under my bed worth $5,000, like talking about donating sperm. Right. Yeah. That's an easy joke, and there's been variations of that by dozens of comics, right? So it's kind of hack, and I admit that, right? But I use it still because it's really the setup for the next 5 or 6 jokes, which I think are really fucking clever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, if a judge is there that night going, "Oh, fucking sperm sock," all right, docking points because that's not very original. So I can kind of see that. But the wild card night, I thought, fuck, even with being docked a little bit, I should have advanced. So
well, I've never done it, so I can't say. But I'm just thinking, if you're getting the laughs, that's your goal, is to get laughs. Every crowd is different, right? So that sperm joke might not work with one crowd. So then where do you go from there, right? So you had that crowd killing it when I was there. Like they were like off their chairs laughing. Yeah. And then you don't win, and I was just
that was the final, the first year I did it.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. To me, it didn't care. I didn't care what the material was. You were killing it. You were making me laugh. So, so that's the kind of stuff where it just makes me. I can see that guy's point, I guess, where it's like, okay, same old joke. Yeah. Whatever. But
maybe that's what it. Like I thought the first year that I did it in the final, I thought I had a chance of winning it. Yeah. But now I don't know. I don't know why I didn't.
You still have to deliver the joke.
What are you gonna do?
Like if I go up there, I'm not funny, so I'll go up there and I could deliver where it's just the exact same joke. That's just awful, and nobody laughs. So
the second year when I did just last year was the second year I did Funniest Person with a Day Job, and again I made it to the final, and there's no way I'm gonna say that I deserved to win because I went up and I froze, and I fucked up my jokes, and I managed to get it back and get a little bit of laughter, but in that respect it was good because I was able to get off the stage and sit there the rest of the night not worrying, I wonder if I'm gonna win, right? Like, I knew no way I was going to do it. I got thrown off because they announced one of the judges, the judge for that night, is a guy that I have history with. And he doesn't like me. And he doesn't like me. I don't like him. Right. And I'm going up on stage thinking, "Fuck."
You're behind the 8 ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's I'm gonna win. This fucking prick hates my guts, and I don't particularly like him. So I throw out my first joke, and it didn't really get a laugh. And I can normally recover from that, but
were you looking at him?
I was, and he's just sitting there stone facing me, and he always fucking does that every time I've seen him at a show that I'm done. So I'm just sitting there.
That's what you like to see at comedy shows.
Yeah, exactly. Guys. So I froze up at the time, right, and. I'm not going to use an excuse because it was weak, right? I should be able to work through that. Yeah. I should be able to, and now I can. But back then, I mean, really, I've only been doing comedy steady basis in the last year, right? Like prior to this, I only did the contests, right? So, didn't know what to do, froze up, fucked up.
Oh well.
But again, it was fun. I mean, you got to bomb once in a while, right? To know that you can survive it.
Absolutely. Speaking of bombing, here.
Special guest. Speaking of bombing,
coming in.
Special guest.
Sure. Get closer to the mic. You're a special guest. I was talking about the road trips to Grand Forks.
Okay.
And all kinds of other things. Right. So you can maybe share your thoughts on that experience.
Nelson's too grabby. My penis hasn't touched like that since childhood. No,
he doesn't pay for gas. He's got to pay somewhere.
I'm good with my hands, I've been told.
It's not through dick pics, right?
No.
Is he sending you?
I haven't even started on dick pics. I got an encyclopedia of dick pics.
Did we introduce Scott?
I just said.
We just did now. Yeah, some random guy just hot on Moore's dick.
That's when you know Scott's coming in.
Yeah.
Nelson told me all about the trip and to Grand Forks. How was that for you?
It was fun. It's always reassuring to know that you're funny in another country. There's a different energy. I don't know. Like there's a different energy. Like I'm like it's kind of cool because like I feel like I always loved comedy, but I lost. I didn't mean to intrude, by the way.
It's all good, man. We were waiting.
I just like
no.
Sounds like I'm no.
We were ranting.
All right. Yeah. There's a different energy, and I always felt like I loved comedy, but I always felt like I lost some drive and passion for it, and just doing these kind of trips kind of helps me find that candle, so to speak, and that flame. Right. And I'm excited again to do comedy. Like it's crazy. Like I did like 25 to 30. That's tomorrow. 25. Dick move. But I can do like, it's a good feeling that I can do like 25 to 30 without looking at notes or anything and just winging it. I'm in an experimental phase in some ways, and it was kind of cool and reassuring to know that I can have fun. I forgot comedy can be fun, and those trips reminded me it can be.
And I can vouch for him being in an experimental phase that explains the blowjob he gave me.
Yes.
How was that experiment?
Have you ever tasted a sliver?
Tasted toothpick.
As long as I get mine.
Yeah.
So speaking of sliver dicks, we have another guy that didn't know he was going to be a guest on the podcast, but here he is. Come on closer to the microphone, and we were talking about the Grand Forks road trip. So
were you on it?
Yeah, this is Dan Goldberg,
Yep.
and he was also on the trip. And
all right, Dan, how was that? How was the trip for you? Were you also molested by Nelson on the trip? Knowingly or unknowingly?
No, he doesn't like. He's not big on African Americans. So.
Monster cock.
He's not big on anybody.
kosher meat.
Yeah. Kosher meat.
I'm Jewish. I just look black.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Oh my God!
Were you sending dick pics too, or is that just?
Just Dick Van Dyke, but he still didn't appreciate it.
He was playing us 8-track porn.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with 8-track porn? I'll let Dan explain to you.
Horrible.
Yeah, I want to hear 8-track.
In the 70s, this was
like a
before
horrible
VHS,
costume.
and before VHS, if you wanted something other than porn in a magazine, all they had for you was 8-track porn, and it was audio porn on the 8-track, and it was done by ne'er-do-well Broadway actors who needed a few extra bucks. So they really Broadwayed it up, but with like the most horrible porn language you've ever heard, like, give it to me, you stupid cunt.
It sounds like the broad from Gone with the Wind too.
Oh yeah, the setup is great. It's like listening to 1930s radio drama programs.
But what's neat is because it was on 8-track, what used to happen with 8-tracks is one track would bleed into the other. So then, like, it was just awfulness layered on top of awful dirt.
Pretty sure that I heard Carol Channing in that video, in that 8-track. Just sounded like her. It was hard times for Carol Channing, so 8-track one.
So we got a roast coming up too of Scott here. He's right here.
We do.
Yeah, are you looking forward to that, Scott?
I just made a really bad racist comment, so you know I am. Gomer didn't hear it, but he said, well, I already opened it up, that door, so you're ready to hate me because a Jewish community. Gomer said something about I just look black, and I'm like, oh, that's like a horrible Holocaust joke I just thought of right now. I had to say it, I just opened it up for you guys. You guys can call it on the air.
Original Jew or extra crispy? Terrible.
Kosher fried chicken.
Yeah. On the road trip, after we did the show, we opened it up and had an open mic. So we invited locals and anybody that wanted to go up and do a few minutes to give it a shot. And one guy goes up, the guy was heckling us all night, right? But he's not one of those, I hate you guys, you suck heckler. He's one of those, I'm helping you hecklers, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he goes up and tells, I don't remember the joke, but he tells a joke about Hitler. And Dan, our resident Jew, is the guy that laughs the hardest at it.
Oh yeah, there's like, most of the time somebody comes up to me and is like, hey, you want to hear this great Jew joke? I can beat him to the punchline because you can't tell a Jew joke he hasn't heard. But when that does happen, doesn't happen often. It is. I laugh harder.
The Jews know all the Jew jokes. They're just not willing to share them.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when you go on tour at the Res there.
Oh yeah.
They know all those.
Oh, I was going to tell you about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have told you guys this. So in St. Teresa Point, it's a remote community. They don't have a lot of resources in the community. Like I said, one of the resources they're clearly missing is a dentist because there is a real huge lack of teeth.
They were all sharing one set.
So I'm selling T-shirts at this booth, right? While Don's up performing, and right beside me there's a booth where they're selling plates of moose meat. Have you ever tried moose meat? Anybody here? Yeah. It's pretty tough, right? Yeah. So this dude comes up and he orders a plate of moose meat, and I'm looking at him, and I might have been ignorant, but I totally wanted to follow him and just watch him eat because he only had one tooth. He just had one tooth here on the bottom. And I'm like, how is this gonna happen? I need to see this. It's not like I want to. I need to.
From personal experience, I could tell you how that happens. You
got more than one tooth? Come on.
No, I wear a denture, right?
Yep.
I'm okay with the public knowing this.
He's 85.
He's 85.
I remember it's been doing comedy for 75 years.
Yeah, it was my fault though, because I was walking home and minding my own business, and then I got jumped. So totally, I clearly asked for it. But I can eat a pizza. It's all about gumming it down and you get soft. And then you use your molars, your side teeth.
Nelson, there's a setup.
I'm not ashamed of it. Ladies, out of the way.
Yeah, I'm going on a road trip with Scott next time. That sounds fun.
That's why I'm afraid of going to prison, because if they find out that I wear a denture, I am fucked. Or I'm gonna be the most popular guy there. Either. I'll become gay out of spite. I'll just do it.
It's like that's a mean set of dentures. It's like a cock whip.
I'll still get teeth. I don't care. I bought them.
So when you got jumped, I gotta ask, were you carrying like a black garbage bag full of all your belongings? And the reason I asked that is because I don't know if you know this, but Scott was recently a star of a Crime Stoppers episode.
Really?
Where
nice.
he talked about miscasting. He played a thug.
I know. Me not a victim? What?
There's roast jokes coming about this, by the way.
Of course there has to be.
I hope so.
So in the video, it's great because he's a thug. There's a dude carrying his black garbage bag full of belongings, and Scott and this other dude roll up, and he's got the thug walk down. I'll give him that, right? Strolls up, and he throws the guy on the ground. And he's supposed to stab him, right? Now, I know I'm part Indian, but I don't really know a lot about stabbing people.
Because you shouldn't.
But I would assume that if you're gonna mug somebody and stab them, you do a quick in and out, right? You can get the fuck out. But Scott, in the video, you see it, it's awesome because he goes crime of passion, right? Like he just fucking, and you can just picture him screaming,
You know what?
"Why did you leave me, Mom?
This was
I was only 6."
But the worst part about that, other than that being true, was the fact that you heard the guy when he was moaning in pain. It sounded like all you hear was like, all you see is me doing this with my hand. You can't see it, but picture of me jerking off a pickle, and then all you hear the guy is go, oh.
He's crouched over, his arms just giving her, right? And I'm like, did this just switch from a Crime Stoppers ad about robbery to sexual assault?
The dentures go back in after.
More like homicide.
So that was great. Scott's claim to fame.
You got some material up for Scott for the roast?
He's in the roast, yeah.
Yeah, you're going in, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you done a roast before?
No.
Are you a fan of roasts?
That's
Or?
a good Jewish person.
I am a
Yeah.
they needed a Jew, so I stepped in. I didn't. Yeah.
Stop thinking those comments. I just can't help the Holocaust jokes.
Yes, you asked a Jew if he's ever been in a roast.
That's super funny.
Don't do this.
It's more
to
like
me.
a broiling.
I'm not a racist, but I'm really clever, and of course, it's a Holocaust joke. So
That's what most racists say.
yeah.
See, I know this is audio, but if you look at Scott, you'd be like, yeah, I could roast that guy. But the thing is,
I roast that guy.
there's nothing I'm finding it hard to find things to say to Scott that he wouldn't say to himself.
Right,
you
yeah,
ever-
that's a hard
Think of it as kicking a man while he's down. Yeah, but enjoying it.
vigorously stabbing a man.
Yeah. An act of passion.
No, so you're looking forward to it? Is this your first one?
Yeah. So
I think it's all our first one.
it's a bit of a different format, but I think it'll be fun at least.
Yeah, we have no idea if it'll be
It'll be a little
successful,
weird.
but it will be fun. We're doing it here, which is a small little stage, and I'm still going to do it the same. I had it in my mind when I first planned this at Pulse that we were going to have all the comics up on the stage like Comedy Central style.
Nice.
And so now that we moved here, I'm still saying we're going to have them all up there.
Oh yeah,
So
we got it.
we're going
That's
to
the
pack
way
them
it's
in.
done.
I'm gonna be punching
Is there a
faces.
fancy chair you can sit in here?
I think, well, that'll be his roast chair, maybe.
There you go, the stool.
I have a computer chair at home I use for 2 different things. I think I'm saying I'm using that. Some stains on that. You may not want to sit on there. I'm not ashamed.
No, we did a podcast at Mark though.
That's
so
Yeah.
it's
that's
nothing we haven't seen.
the one thing about myself that I'm proud of. That I can say something really shocking and gross, and people are like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, it's believable.
Doesn't surprise me at all. You masturbate? What? No, you're probably swimming in the pussy. No. It's nice to know that I got that believable factor about that.
So are you guys excited for Nelson becoming a big shot now and traveling all over the country?
Yeah,
I'm a big shot now.
you are.
I am. Did you know? Here's some news.
Yeah.
The XM satellite thing has been moved because of the rumors flood. It's now going to be at the Cheer. And I don't know if you know this, but that's been my lifelong dream to perform at the Cheer. Now I get to be on that stage and feel like an A-list comedian, and I am so looking forward to that shit.
What do you mean? Oh, well, that sounds very personal.
Yeah, there's a little bit of inside jokes there. That's cool.
Tastes bitter.
Bitter in here, yeah. Must be salty from the residue of the
Yep.
previous jokes we made about the burning.
We have to share it now. I don't know what the.
Well, I'm just joking about the whole shit before because there's a show regular at the Cheer.
Okay, where's the
I will
cheer? I've
never
never
ever
even
be a
heard
part of it. So
I've never even heard of the cheer.
It's in Osborne.
Oh, is it? Oh,
It used to be called.
Academy Bar and Eatery.
No,
Okay.
yeah, the Academy
Yeah.
Bar and Grill.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they do a regular show. Then they have a lot of the guys in Winnipeg that have been doing comedy for a long time.
Just veterans.
Yeah.
Veterans, yeah.
Kind of the pros.
Yeah.
They used to do. Some people used to do the whole us versus them shit with our show and my show, and
I think they still do. I don't
some
know.
people still do. I don't engage. I don't give a fuck. But I like making jokes every once in a while, and that's where they do their show at the Cheers. So it's funny to me that I'm now up on your stage, bitches.
It's funny because it's funny because when I was opening for my buddy Lars Kallio, shout out. No, he was coming in Winnipeg and then.
Oh, you dropped this name here.
Thank you for picking up the Lars Kallio.
I remember when I was talking to Chris Rock at the Comedy Store one night, and he told me how funny I was.
You know, it's funny. Mike McDonald. He's a Canadian hilarious.
No lying, 60% of our fans are strippers, so.
Yeah.
Really?
No lie, yeah. If you go on our Facebook page and
Really?
look at our friends on there.
Females?
Yeah, most I think. Yeah, there might be a couple male strippers in there.
Lady strippers out there. I enjoy the art of it. I enjoy the nudity, clothing and non-clothing, dancing, and the music. Ask Nelson.
He just turned really creepy.
If we all backed away.
To the rest of the stripper community, my name is Dan Goldberg. You might know me better by my other stage name, Hot Chocolate.
Monster Cock, actually. There's
If you want any dick
That's my
pics,
prostitution.
text it to you. Scott's number is.
a roast on Wednesday. You guys want to come down and just gauge for yourself. I mean, I talked to Nelson about this earlier. I'm a lowlife right now, and I'm owning every moment of it.
Strippers get in for $5 that night too, right?
Will they? Absolutely, everybody does.
Oh, that was the way of getting them in. They wouldn't have gone.
Only if I can pay under G-string.
Will this be posted by then, do you think?
By Wednesday? Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. I'll try to
Okay.
get this
So if we have any of our 3 listeners happen to be strippers, here's your
Oh,
invite.
For sure they will.
And I'm really good with my dancing. I was going to say tongue, but that's inappropriate.
He just takes his dentures out.
Yeah.
They get in the way.
Exactly. It looks weird, but you'll enjoy it.
Well, Scott's a nice guy. Before he would put a loony up in you, he would wash it off.
Yes.
Class. Nothing but
Yeah,
class.
he's a classy guy. He's got. Yes, that's why he carries the wet nap system.
I can bring a pole. That's all I'm saying. Where was I? All right. You're talking about the cheer.
Yes. At one point we were
The
talking about the
academy.
cheer.
There was the Academy Bar and Eatery, then that, and then we'll engage, and then forgot how I got the strippers all of a sudden.
Yeah, they were our listener. You name dropped some guy.
Oh, Lars Kallio. Lars Kallio.
There we
He
go.
got me to open. Yeah, he got me to open for him at the King's Head Pub, which I'd always wanted to perform at, and then I couldn't because I'm not. I don't know, just not allowed, I guess. I don't want to sound shitty, so I'll just say not allowed.
Because
but
he's an anti-Semite.
I'm an anti-Semite, and I don't like Jews. And
Both those things.
no, but I got to open for him, and it was kind of cool, and I kind of can relate to Nelson because he's like, I probably need to perform at Cheer, but it's not at like stand up and Cheer. It's a different. That'd be really funny to do if we had like a private show, a fundraiser at the Cheer. It'd be funny to most of the comics, not all of them.
No, well.
We can raise money for strippers. Only Toonies and Loonies. So.
You should have that show. You should have like a stripper show, like a.
It's been done before
Couple
where
stripper-
comedy shows are done at strip clubs, and it's not easy.
Solid Gold. They used to have it at the comedy show.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I remember touching the pole because it shocked. It made noises.
So you had strippers on while you.
No.
After-
After the stripper.
Yeah.
In between.
Okay. Yeah.
So the the female comics have the best times because like guys.
Can you
like-
imagine doing it while they're stripping? You can do like hacky comedy. What's the deal with shaved vagina?
And then she points or spreads her legs.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of echoes,
I like the idea of doing like Christian comedy during a stripper, like the cleanest comedy.
I would
Yeah.
go to that though.
They've done that, but it's fucked up because you have to entertain like these horny pervs in
Yeah.
between, and they're just waiting for their next boner to come out on stage, right?
Yeah, I guess that would be a little awkward. For sure.
And you're like, yeah, you ever seen a father drag his son kicking, screaming out of a store?
The stripper
Let's
was
see
like,
some clam.
also your jokes that are pillow strippers. It was like that was me. Because you have a lot of dark shit.
Yeah, I do.
Well, there's got to be a clever way to do it. I'm sure there's.
oh yeah,
Yeah, you
any good comedian can
Oh, yeah.
own any room, but it's tough.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. You just have to talk about vagina. That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's all they want.
We should have like one of them. Maybe find one who will volunteer and do like sign language. Like you could be talking, she's doing the sign language with her body. And,
yeah. But that's the benefit though of doing a hell room. I don't know. I still want to call it a hell room.
Or
I want to make it slangy. If you can do a show at a top room, you can do a show anywhere.
No, I believe it.
So before we wrap it up, because we've probably been going for quite a while, right? How long have we done?
Like 40.
Oh, that's
an hour.
Oh, see, yeah, only 5. So what's the most fucked up weird hell room that you've done before, you guys?
Oh wow, there's so many.
So what would happen if these guys went up to the res, like where you are, and told some of the jokes that you said wouldn't fly over?
I would do well.
Right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Don told me he's brought white comedians up, and they haven't connected with the audience.
Yeah.
It's a very different sense of humor. I think they would do fine.
But I got jumped by, you know.
You guys beat my ass in high school. I grew up in the North End, you know.
And now I look like you guys. Look, let's go eat some
I'm sure they'd do fine. If they're coming with me, I would just, because the key to doing those kind of crowds is fucking teasing the audience. They like that kind of shit.
These guys the audience without the audience turning on them on a res.
Oh, I think they could. I think they.
Yeah.
I tease myself, but the audience can
tough up there. Like I lived on a res for a year, and
both. These guys, what I like about their comedy is they're very fucking playful on stage and they're having a good time, and so the audience can,
that's true.
You know, and if Goldberg is up there terrorizing some Indian about being fucking brown, and you know him not I'm a Jewish guy, but I would not give you credit, you know, like whatever the fuck, like he could get away with that.
I bet. Yeah.
Plus, when they see my Ving Rhames like physique,
they're not gonna fuck with him, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So all the strippers out there, remember Goldberg, Ving Rhames physique.
Well, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, what's the toughest room you guys have done?
I think the toughest room we might do is Stony Mountain.
Stony Mountain, we're gonna be doing eventually.
Are you serious?
I think it's August. He said, didn't he?
Yeah, sometime in
How
August.
does one of those work? Like all the inmates get to come watch you guys do it?
I don't know. Hi.
The
one's on good behavior.
Headlining it, or what's the?
It's gonna be myself, him, and anybody else besides Chris from Thunder Bay, Chris Mullowishan.
Brian Babcock.
Ryan, he's gonna get fucking slayed in there. I like Ryan, but he should not be doing that show.
He might do really
no
well.
Offense,
though.
Ryan. I like his comedy. He's very, very, very dark and very, very unpolished.
Out of prison.
Maybe, huh? He might get raped.
I might get raped though.
Ryan Babcock. He's from Thunder Bay. That could be tough. I have relatives in there, so it'd be good for me. I really do.
Cream cookies.
Yeah. I had 2 hellish shows. One was during a poker game. There was a comedy show during a poker game. That was one of the comics who doesn't like me now, or just didn't like that. Like he was not happy about that, and I don't blame him. I was like, I'm super passive. That's that problem, and I couldn't say anything to anybody. I want to make it. It's like the comics were pissed off. I was like, you guys have a poker game. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'll be quieter for you.
Yeah, don't let me interrupt.
I'm trying to think of the better hell. I remember the one in Transcona where it was like basically 3 guys on a couch who didn't know what to do with the Transcona part of the song. That's still me, so I haven't forgotten that.
Mine would pretty much be any of the Pulse shows we did, just because they had the fucking pool going in the background every time,
well,
and that drove me crazy.
That was you. Who was up when I went? And they just kept mocking the guys playing pool.
Yeah, you did that.
Was it you? Yeah, that was hilarious.
But then I also did a show in Compton. California.
Oh, wow.
CPT.
And all I know about Compton is shit I've learned from Eazy-E and NWA. And I'm not saying they're the best resource for information, but this is what I had to go on. So my buddy is like, oh yeah, I do open mics down and shows down there all the time. You should come down. So I went down, and the first joke I told was I said, you know, I get really nervous around black people. Just letting you know, and it's all black audience.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Just letting you know, I get really nervous around black people, and it's just because we don't have black people in Canada. You know, I mean, we let white people in once, and the place went to shit. And they laughed, they liked it, right? But this black dude starts walking up to the stage, right? And he's not smiling, he's just walking the stage, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get stabbed or something, right? And he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a few $1 bills and throws them at me.
Oh, nice.
And I found out that that's what they do. It's like, you're a stripper, you know? He was making it rain. If they like you, they'll throw a few bucks at you. So
Did you put them up your ass?
I just shoved them in between my man tits.
Your opening line should have been, first of all, fuck the police.
they would have appreciated that maybe.
Yeah.
And then they would have thought like we got $10 from that. I don't know. I'm like, this guy's funny.
Compton jokes. And then, yeah, I told them that the only thing I knew about Compton was shit I learned from Easy and NWA, so I was worried that if they didn't like you, they'd open fire. And, if they do like you, they'll just fucking nick you in the leg, right? So if the next comic comes up with a limp, you know he's pretty fucking funny. But it hit good. So it wasn't a hell show.
Right.
It worked out good.
That was scary.
But it was a rough room,
Yeah.
a rough-looking room, and it's in Compton, and it's at night, and, I mean...
Nothing about
I'm
that's
Canadian.
awesome.
I don't know anything, but
Canadian and Compton.
all I know is when you go through Compton, you drive through really fast. The doors are locked, right?
It's so weird because now it's like I'm saying this. I don't know if I own it, but like I believe it at the moment. I don't care what kind of crowd I have anymore. Like I could say this now and be a chicken shit later, but at the moment it's like I don't think I'm fearless or I just don't care. Like I accept anything that's gonna happen to me, in the sense of being stabbed. Does that make sense? I don't like. I'll do it. Like if I have to do a show at a room and people are rowdy and like it's bikers and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I would care. But I want to say I don't. I just don't care. Like, what's up, bitches? That's all sorts of show.
When a comedian gets on stage in front of a rough crowd and they're smiling, that is the definition of a shit-eating grin. They are just in there with a shovel. They don't care if they're digging up or down.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I think we've all done shows where the crowd is totally not engaged. Like Finn's, that happens a lot. It's an open mic. So
Richard's Pub.
Richard's Pub
Oh, that was a fun time.
in Alberta, he had a rough time
Oh,
with the
really?
crowd.
Yeah.
Before and on.
Yeah.
Women.
So that's always tough when you're up there and nobody's listening to anything you say. And
Yeah.
I still struggle with that. I've seen this guy go up there with fucking nobody in the crowd, and he still looks like he's performing in front of a packed room having fun. So I don't know how he does that. Yeah.
That's what I try to get people's attention. Like, what sort of irks me sometimes is like, sometimes even at this venue, there's often people here who don't know comedy's about to happen.
Right.
So when the show starts, they keep acting like there's not a show going on, and like that's fine. They weren't planning on it, but like there's absolutely no courtesy. So I try to get them on my side. I try to engage the people that aren't paying attention, and most of the time you just can't win them over. But the people that aren't listening, they have they appreciate you trying to reach out to others.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. No, I could not do what you guys do. I think it's awesome. It's fun to watch, but I don't have the balls to go up there, so I'm glad you guys do.
You're gonna host for us sometime, though, right?
Yeah, I can go up there and host.
All right.
For sure, I'll do that. That'd
Sounds
be
good.
awesome, even Grand Forks.
Comedy is the
No,
cheapest
for real, you
therapy.
should come out next time.
I would love to. I would do that.
We've had fucking pretty bad hosts in Grand Forks for us.
Oh, really? So the bar's low. I can
The
do
bar
that.
is real low, real low. The bar is over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Oh,
hosted
jeez.
for us the first time.
Yeah, but if I'm worse than that, then what do I do? I'm done.
Oh yeah, you're not getting a ride home if you're worse than Mark.
He's right behind you, dude.
Just kidding, Mark. You're great. Should we do an episode of cleaning out Mark's closet before we wrap it
Yeah,
up?
absolutely. Yeah. Your new phone.
New phone. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we don't need to call him. He's right there. So, Mark, you ready to come out of the closet yet? Okay, we're done.
That was
That
another
wraps
edition.
up another edition of cleaning out Mark's closet.
All right, that was Who's Your Daddies podcast. Thanks to our special guest, Dan, as well as Scott and Nelson.
Thank you for having us.
And come down to Finn's Pub every
Every Sunday night we do it. Sign up if people are interested in trying it out. It's sign up at 7:30. Show starts at 8.
Facebook us on Who's Your Daddies to let us know if you want to do it. And
Yeah,
more information, we'll
and
give it to you.
when you Facebook us, invite us to your show since it's 60% strippers fan
And
base.
Yeah, absolutely,
If
yeah.
strippers want to email me at thickstranger99@gmail.com, that would. I'm not kidding.
Now, does this
That's my
podcast have
fabulous email.
anything to do with the Indianapolis basketball rapist podcast called Who's Your Daddies? I'm just wondering if there's a connection
It's a
there.
fair question.
It is. And on that note, we can't answer that. We're legally not allowed to talk about that. So, but join us next week. We will be back more often now. Hopefully, with Nelson being back in town is his fault. So we will be back. So thanks for listening to Who's Your Daddies podcast.
Thank you. I think that was another fun one, Bill.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm a
It's long
pervert.
one.